I want to talk about something that I've noticed I get a recurring question about, which is whenever I tell people what I do for a living, which is, marketing, they ask, oh, what kind of marketing? And then I say, oh, organic. And then usually after that, there's crickets. So I wanted to use this as an opportunity to explain what the heck organic marketing is and how it differs from other types of marketing. I think this is going to be really helpful if you're someone who maybe has heard of it before but doesn't know what it is, if you've never heard about it before, if it sounds familiar but you're not sure. So either way, we're going to be crushing some myths and kind of clarifying some pieces around what the heck organic marketing is. So let's go ahead and dive exactly into that. In my words, organic marketing is anything that you do to naturally attract people your way without using any kind of pay-to-play model like ads. Popular examples of ways to organically market include content like blog posts, like newsletters, like social media, SEO, referrals, community building, writing a book. And in my mind, the key differentiator with organic marketing versus other types of marketing is that it's very long-term. It is a long-term play, and it's very, very relationship driven. You are building trust with these people through providing different forms of value in a few different types of ways. Organic is like watching a flower bloom. Paid marketing is like shooting an arrow, if you want to think about it in layman's terms. So if we were to kind of break it down by attributes or aspects or something, if you've got more time than money, organic is the way that you want to go. If you've got more money than time, maybe you want to try paid. If you're okay with working slower, you might want to do organic. If you're on a bit of a timeline or you have a campaign or something that you're wanting to bring more immediate attention to, paid ads or any kind of paid media is a really great way to do that. Organic tends to be more evergreen. Paid media or paid marketing tends to be more temporary, which is why I say that, press releases or paid ads or anything like that are really good for short-term projects like campaigns. If you're launching a podcast, if you're launching an event, if you're launching a book, if you're launching a community, or if you're just wanting to keep attention around, consistent attention around whatever thing it is that you're working on or whatever you want people's eyes and ears to be on, those are some of the differentiators between organic versus paid. I literally just wrote my upcoming newsletter on this topic because I watched a really good interview with someone named Justin Welsh. I've never heard of him before last month. Maybe you've heard of him, I haven't. But the thing that caught my attention about him is that he built an $8 million business on his own as a solopreneur. And the key that he said to doing that was through long form content. In other words, organic marketing. I'll leave a link to his video in the description below. If you tune in to the 23-minute mark of that conversation, he said a couple really good one-liners. I'm going to kind of say what they are right now. Organic social to me is all about getting discovered, which I definitely agree with. Getting discovered in and of itself is not enough, which I also agree with. That's kind of the caveat of organic marketing or any content-based marketing. The third thing he says is that to me, it's less about interest and it's more about trust. I trust this person is really good at what they do. I trust this person is not just lip service, that they're actually an expert at the things they say they're an expert in, which I love. And I love how he broke it down in that way. When it comes to content, when it comes to any kind of organic marketing, it's letting people know who you are, letting people know what you stand for, what's so great about you, the ideas that you have to share, whether you're educating, motivating, inspiring, or creating aspirational content or anything like that. It's about relationship building, and it's a long-term relationship building type activity. Organic not only builds trust, but also builds authority over time. At the time of my making this video, I have a little over 1,400 subscribers on YouTube, but about a year or two ago, I think I was only at a couple hundred. So I can say I've got credibility, I've got some authority behind my name because I was able to build my little niche, tiny little cute, amazing audience in a very short amount of time, which, is something that maybe a lot of people do, maybe a lot of people don't do, but that's just, that's something that I've got working in my favor that I can leverage to earn people's trust, at least initially in terms of social proof. And although organic marketing is more of a long game that you're playing, that might be kind of a con. However, if you're an optimist, like your homegirl over here, what does that mean? It means that it's also low risk, high reward if you're consistent with it. If you're consistent with it, with your language, with your tone, with your personality, with the value, with just showing up in general, if you're consistent with all of that stuff, you increase your chances of having a higher ROI or a return on your investment. What that investment is, in the case of organic marketing, is most likely going to be your time. And it's great because it works even if you're not actively selling. I still get comments on videos that I made 2 or 3 years ago, about like how to find an editor for your book, because I talked a lot about book stuff for a good long while. That's how I built my initial following, and that might very well be how you know me right now. But I'm still getting like comments on this kind of thing, even though I'm not actively promoting it, which in some ways is probably due to the algorithm pushing it out, because any type of algorithm that you're working with likes to reward content that's already performing well. So even if it's slow to start, even if it had a big boom, if the content is good, it'll find a way to rise to the top and people will find ways to engage with it. Now, I'm going to tell you by contrast what organic marketing isn't. It is not posting and praying. And I know that this is something that people do a lot. So if you want me to go a little bit deeper into this in another video, please let me know and I'm happy to do a deeper dive. But the posting and praying model is sort of just like throwing crap at the wall and seeing what sticks. Like you're just kind of posting to post at that point, I feel like. So this kind of leads me to the end of the video where I like tell you stuff that you can use. The first thing being, what are you good at? Like, what is something that you know a lot about? What's something that you're good at? What's something that you're just kind of obsessed with? What's something that you have just this innate, consistent, quiet curiosity about? Like, it can be a passion, it can be an interest, it can just be like a weird nerdy thing, a really niche nerdy thing that you happen to know about. Either way, what's something that you've got going for you that either other people would find interesting or that would benefit other people, or something that you have that other people want? In the case of the latter, it's probably going to be one of 3 things: money, relationship, or health, which I think is something that Russell Brunson, I think is his name, coined in like a book of his. I'm like recently learning about all these like super big popular people. The second thing is, what kind of communication do you naturally resonate with? I like to talk, and I feel like I do my best talking on video. So, I don't mind throwing on a little bit of lipstick and making a video like this. I'm not uncomfortable being on camera, as I hope you can tell, but maybe you're better at writing. Maybe you're better at blogging. Maybe you're better at speaking and like wanting to do a podcast. Maybe you're better at like coaching. Maybe you're better at just teaching and you want to do courses, or you want to do a community or something. What are you good at, and how do you like to talk or communicate about that kind of thing? And the reason that I'm saying one thing and not things is because they say the riches are in the niches. And if you want to build a really deep and engaged following or audience or community around something, that credibility and that trust is going to come from not just you showing up naturally and authentically in whatever way feels good to you, but also knowing a lot or having a very particular knowledge about something, right? Because that's how you create demand. It's hard to create demand for anything if you're a generalist, but if you're really good at one thing or you have something that people want, it's a lot easier to capitalize on that kind of thing because it's so particular. I mean, I feel like that's how people find a lot of their favorite books, is that, oh my God, I feel like this book is reaching me at a very particular point in my life. Or, oh my God, I feel like the author's talking about this very particular thing that I happen to be thinking or feeling. I mean, it's a really great way to help people feel seen, heard, and valued by calling out the one thing that they're looking for or the one thing that they're struggling with. So that's why I'm using more singular language rather than like generalist language. And that's a whole other topic about, people kind of getting messy between what they're posting and then, who they are. It's a branding conflict issue, so we're going to talk about that later. Anyway, what are you good at? How do you prefer to communicate about that kind of thing? Who are you trying to attract with all of that stuff? That's identifying your target audience. That's identifying the tree within the forest, the individual within the crowd. And I've made a couple videos on that before. I'll link that down below too as well. And then finally, get to know those people that you're wanting to attract. What are their likes? What are their dislikes? What do they resonate with? What kind of content do they like? Where are they hanging out at? It's no different than like trying to make a friend. It's no different than like trying to find common ground with like a stranger like at a bus stop or something like that. Well, that's probably a creepy example, but you know what I'm saying. So I just wanted to like make this quick little, hopefully quick video about what the heck organic marketing is, how the heck it differs from other types of marketing. So I hope this kind of cleared things up a little bit and didn't muddy the waters more than it needed to. Marketing is a very, very big umbrella, and there's PR, there's advertising, there's organic, there's paid, there's branding, it's like 10,000 leagues under the sea. So either way, I hope you found this valuable. Be sure to use this information, and if you're into this kind of thing, you might want to consider subscribing to the channel and also my newsletter, where I just kind of like to keep talking about this kind of stuff. So either way, wherever you choose to hang out at, you're going to be in for a real treat. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.